Okay guys, like I am totally freaking out because I knew that Scream Queens was going to be good, but I had no idea it was going to be this amazing. Like hit the thumbs up if you are just obsessed with this show already. Okay, praise Fox for making it a 2-hour premiere. Gotta love them for that. And then let me just say that Ryan Murphy, who is the creator of this show, is a freaking genius. I have watched every show pretty much that he's ever done. American Horror Story, Nip Tuck, Glee. You know, I haven't watched the seasons of all of Glee and American Horror Story, but I definitely watched all of Nip Tuck. Gonna definitely watch all of Scream Queens. He's a genius. He's amazing. And okay, let me just start now with my review of this episode. Let me try to calm down. It's hard. Believe me, guys, it's hard because I am fired up. So we begin in the year 1995 at the Kappa Kappa Tau sorority house, which is uber fancy, and the girls are uber, well, let's just say it, they're uber bitches. And something really bad has happened. One of these sisters has had a baby in the upstairs bathroom, and instead of her fellow sisters being caring and trying to help her, they're like, hello, TLC's Waterfalls is on. We're going to go downstairs and party to that. You deal with your bloody baby in the bathtub, okay? Well, that doesn't work out because she bleeds out because they leave her up there and she dies. But the baby survives, and the mystery ongoing in this show is going to be who exactly is that baby as a grown-up. I have a pretty good idea. I'll get to that in just a little bit. So now we flash forward to present day, where the sorority is still going strong, and my queen, Emma Roberts, is the president of Kappa Kappa Tau, and she goes by the name of Chanel, which is quite fitting in this series, and she is just evil to the core. Emma's doing such an amazing job playing this ruthless sorority president. I think she is the stereotypical evil sorority girl to the core, and I just love her. I think she's just absolutely amazing. So there's some issues though with the sorority because you see last year someone accidentally spray tanned the former president with hydrochloric acid. Which meant like her skin totally burned off. Of course, this made a way for Chanel to be the new president, and people kind of think that she did it. Now, I personally do not think she did it because why? Well, because that's just too easy. Who do you think did it? Thumbs up if you think that Chanel definitely did not put the hydrochloric acid in this spray tan machine. So we meet up with Grace, who I think is just an amazing character already. Her dad is driving her to college, and she seems like a good girl, a nice girl. We learn that her mom died when she was a baby, and her dad is really sad about them separating and her going off on her own for the first time. So what I've already thought about here, even though we're just meeting her, when she mentioned that her mom died, and even though the ages don't really match up totally, I'm getting vibes that she was Bathtub Baby. If she's not, she's definitely connected somehow to some of those sorority sisters. What do you guys think about that? Please let me know down below. So we are introduced to the villain of this show, which is our second big mystery of this series, and it's a person who goes by the name of Red Devil. Basically, it's a person who is roaming around campus, killing co-eds, dressed in a red latex-like devil suit with a devil mask. Now, some of you may be thinking this is just one person. I happen to think maybe it could be multiple people, but what I do believe is that it will be one of the people we come to know very well. I don't think it'll be an obscure character. Hello, Pretty Little Liars. I don't think they're going to go there. I know how Ryan Murphy operates, and I know that the payoff for this series will be amazing. Like, I don't have any doubts. Like, we're not dealing with Marlene King here, okay? You feel me? You feel me? Anyway, so it will be interesting to figure out who Red Devil is. I cannot wait. And I don't really have any ideas yet. I think it's a little too soon, but if you have any ideas, please put those down below. So, because of all the issues with KKT, the dean, who is played by horror legend Jamie Lee Curtis, who is in all the Halloween movies, if you've seen those before, not all of them, but the first ones, the most important ones, she informs Chanel that they're going to have to let anyone into the sorority this year because that's just the way it goes. So that means they're going to have to let in the neck brace girl, who is Leah Michelle. Makes me so happy that Leah is in this series. Her name is Hester on the series. They're going to have to let in a gay girl. They're going to have to let in a candle vlogger. Love that. Shout out to YouTube. How freaking amazing. And a deaf girl who's obsessed with Taylor Swift. Now, there is nothing wrong with any of these people that I have mentioned, but in the eyes of Chanel and the sorority, these are people who would never, ever, ever, ever get into KKT, okay? So it kills her soul and the fellow Chanels who are like her little posse of girls. It kills them to have to let in these people who they feel like are just totally undesirable. So gotta say, Chanel's boyfriend Chad is her perfect match. Like, if that's not her soulmate, then she just doesn't have one, because he is just as soulless and superficial and terrible and evil as she is. And we also meet his BFF. Nick Jonas plays this character. We find out a little bit later that perhaps Nick wants to be more than friends with Chad, although I'm not so sure that is the case, but we'll see how that plays out. I love the fact that Ariana Grande and Abigail Breslin are also part of the Chanel squad. That just makes me so happy. I think the casting in this show is amazing. Plus, we also have Keke Palmer as Zayday. I love that name. She's one of the pledges. So a lot of people that you've seen before, and that's kind of the way that Ryan Murphy operates with his shows. You will probably see a lot of people show up for just a couple of episodes who you recognize, because he loves to have famous people and people who are recognized easily in his series. So love him for that. So Chanel is so evil that she is just terrible to the maid, who is Mrs. Beans. She's making her scrub the floors with the Barbie toothbrush, which honestly, I had to laugh at that, but please, that is just so absolutely terrible. She berates baristas at the fake Starbucks around campus, and she really honestly has no friends and probably no one who actually cares about her. So speaking of baristas, this one in particular that she's yelling at about the PSL, which I thought was such a hilarious scene, his name is Pete, and it turns out that last year he was quite obsessed with Chanel. I think she had to get like a restraining order against him because he texted her like 5,000 times. But he has a really interesting story, because he's also a newspaper reporter, and he's trying to kind of figure out, so he says, what is going on with the KKT sorority, which he thinks is corrupt. And I think he's going to try to determine who Red Devil is. There's a lot of stuff going on here, a lot of red herrings pointing to him being Red Devil. I don't know. I think it's, I think it's too obvious at this point. But he does find out that he has a new crush, and that is new girl Grace, and they're going to team up a little bit later. So Chanel comes up with this great plan. She's like, I know how we can get rid of all these new pledges that we would never let into our sorority in a million years. All we have to do is pretend to burn Mrs. Beans, the maid's face, in the fryer oil, but we won't really turn it on, so everyone will get scared and they'll just run away and they won't want to be part of KKT anymore. That sounds like a really good plan, right? Well, what happens when that day actually comes is when Chanel pushes the maid's face into the frying oil. Yes, someone had turned that on. I think we all saw that coming. So yes, the maid's face actually burned off. And we think she died somehow. Not from having her face burned, but maybe a heart attack or something. So unfortunately, all of these pledges become accessories to her murder as they all drag her body into the freezer. Something's going to happen with that here in just a little bit. So Grace has decided to kind of start dating Pete, the newspaper reporter, and they're going to team up together because they have a similar interest here. They want to bring down Chanel, which I think is a really, really, really good idea. So here's when we run into another problem. Chanel and her D-bag boyfriend go into the freezer because she wants to show Chad the body, but the problem is the body is gone, which we see happen a lot with the people that Red Devil murders. Something happens to their bodies. But we do learn here that Chad is obsessed with all things dead. I think that is a clue. We're going to learn a little bit later that someone else we just met is obsessed with dead people. But I think we should pay attention to that because I definitely think that that is important. So I think the best, hands down, scene of this episode was the Ariana Grande death scene. Like, please. Oh my gosh. So amazing. So I loved it because Red Devil obviously can't speak because they have a mask on. They decide to text Ariana and she's texting them back because it seems like she doesn't Okay, she's not that smart. I mean, in this series, of course. And so he or she totally texts her that I'm going to kill you now. And she's like, what? She texts back. So funny. So then he starts to stab her. I keep saying he, but Red Devil could definitely be a girl. And she runs over to her laptop and she's like tweeting that, oh my God, Red Devil is stabbing me and killing me. And sadly, she dies right before she's able to send the tweet. Best part of the series or the episode is that she wakes up just in time, just for enough time to hit that send button to get that tweet sent out. Freaking hilarious. Thumbs up if you thought that was hilarious. I was laughing and laughing and laughing. And just a heads up, you can follow actually the Chanel characters. You can actually follow them on Twitter in addition to following Scream Queens and following the real people who play these roles, which I think it's really cool. If you're active on social media, Scream Queens is super active. They even have a Snapchat. I just love that they're so into what's going on right now, and all the references in this episode were so relevant, you know, to like what is going on with Twitter and stuff and just everything. I just love that about this series already. So that was just amazing to me. So as part of Hell Week, which the pledges are going through, they have to agree to be buried in the yard of the sorority house, and they're buried like up to their necks, which who would agree to that? I know I wouldn't. No sorority is worth that for me, but whatever, that's beside the point. But sadly, Red Devil has decided that this would be the greatest opportunity ever to mow the yard. And it really made me sad because he mows right over deaf Taylor Swift's head. And she couldn't even hear what was going on and thought the other girls, instead of screaming, which they were actually doing, were singing lyrics to Taylor's song. So she started singing Shake It Off. Another freaking hilarious scene. Thumbs up if you laughed. And it really hurt me because she died right there, which I think sucks because I thought she was just a hilarious character. I thought she was just freaking amazing. Anyway, so we also learn that Hester, who is Leah Michelle's character, is obsessed with death. So we've gotten 2 clues about 2 people in this episode who have a death obsession, which could point to them being Red Devil or could be red herrings. What do you guys think? I would love to know down below. So Grace freaks out because she is at Pete's place and she sees the Red Devil costume in his closet. Now, he tries to explain to her that he is the mascot for the school's football team. I don't know if the mascot is the Red Devil. Maybe that's so, and maybe that's why he has that costume in his closet. But she immediately thinks that he is the bathtub baby, which I don't think. Who do you think is the bathtub baby? I would love to hear what you think down below. Now, what do you guys think about Gigi? Gigi is the KKT national president. I definitely think that she was one of the sorority girls from 1995 involved in the bathtub baby incident. I would love to hear your thoughts on that as well. The ending was also amazing yet sad at first because who doesn't want to see more of Nick Jonas? And I think we were all shocked and surprised when he was carved up like a turkey dead on the dining room table. I don't think anyone saw that coming or anyone wanted that to happen. But there was a major twist at the end of this episode when Red Devil pulls Nick out of the morgue and it was all fake. So Nick is alive. So are there multiple Red Devils? Is Nick in on this? Who is the Red Devil? Who's helping him? What are your thoughts on that? Good news is we'll see more of him. And also more good news is that Ryan Murphy tweeted that we will see more of Ariana Grande. So even though she's dead or we think she's dead, somehow we're going to see more of her. So hey, that is great. So let me just say that this series is so amazing to me. Like, I haven't been so excited about a series probably since Pretty Little Liars started, but I'm no longer really that excited about that show, to be honest. And I feel like this one's going to be everything PLL was, plus so much more. I think it's hilarious. It takes a lot for me to laugh at a show on, you know, like regular TV. I was laughing through pretty much all of it. It is so witty. It is so relevant. It is just... Guys, I'm the #1 fan of Scream Queen. So what I want you guys to do right now, if you would like for me to start doing live shows where you can interact with me live on YouTube, live shows about Scream Queens, just give this a thumbs up. If we can get to 100 thumbs ups, then I will start doing the live shows next Wednesday. I think I'll start doing them at 6 p.m. Eastern. So anyway, 100 thumbs up and we'll start doing live shows on Scream Queens. And if you haven't subscribed, please do. I'm covering all of this season of Scream Queens, as well as other shows. Check my channel out to see which ones. Thank you so much for watching this episode of Kellie TV, and have a great day. Bye, guys.
You make me feel like I'm living a teenage